the correct name in English and everything. So yeah, shame on you, Wolf.
I am embarrassed a little bit.
Your childhood must have been a sad one. You don't know Vicky the Viking. Well, game number 2 has started in our match, our best of 3 between Keen and Inori. And our Terran player starting to the top of the map right now. Antigua Shipyard in red. We have our Terran player starting for Team MVP. This is Keen.
Not wearing the commander jacket today.
Nope, no commander jacket for him.
It's a little bit cooler right now in Seoul in the evening, but at this point in time, he doesn't need a jacket. It's fairly comfortable outside.
To the bottom, we have his opponent losing map number 1, Abyssal City. Now facing his Terran opponent on Antigua Shipyard. This is, of course, starting for TSL, Inori.
Yeah. There he is. Liking the glasses. Good look for him. Well, this map, as I said before, is a map where siege tank play is quite popular. It's not the end-all, because drop play like we saw from Keen in game number 1 is actually just as good, if not better, on this map than the aquatic map we saw earlier, Abyssal City. So we'll see what Keen has planned. His style, I feel, is somewhat predictable, but it's so well executed every time that it's not like you can just counter it. It's just so hard to deal with. And even Inori did a build that was kind of vulnerable to his style last game, going for that fast third Nexus on a huge map where you have to spread your units really far if you go for that quick Nexus.
I think this is a little bit of a more, I would say, straightforward map. This is a map where you at least know what's coming, what you have to prepare for. Abyssal City is still fairly new.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to prepare for a match on this map. And Keen just played the strength of the map of Abyssal City and those runways that he could execute. And just in general, that seems to be Keen's style. I'm a bit interested to see what is going to happen on this map, especially what Inori is going to do. If you will have him, for example, with the Blink Stalker build. Or if, or what Keen is trying to execute. So often we have Keen actually with a build where he relies or tries to just dodge the vision of the Xel'Naga Watchtower. Tries to do some damage.
This is such an annoying situation as a Terran player, by the way, the probe harass. Now this SCV will likely die, actually. Until the Marine comes out, he's so vulnerable. He barely got away there. Really nicely controlled by both players, actually. Inori getting a little bit lucky with the pathing of the SCV, but Keen re-halting and re-pathing his SCV repeatedly back onto the depot to try to save it, then running away at the last second, realizing that he was in trouble. Really well done by both players, actually. Command Center does get thrown down. And this is the point where Inori is going to have to make his choice. Do I take my second gas or not?
SCV is still alive in the main race, by the way, so really a good amount of scouting information for Keen. Whereas the probe is now at the top and is just able to spot not too much. He's not in range of the command center, so he doesn't really know what's going to happen here.
Pretty cool scout, though, because now he knows there's no tech lab, for example, and if there was a command center on the edge, he would have seen it. He still knows that this is kind of weird. There's no command center on the low ground. There probably would have been an add-on on the barracks starting at that point if he was going for some sort of factory-based play. Keen, though, double CC in the main.
Yeah, he's playing it really greedy, and Inori now started with his own Nexus. I feel like Inori, I was a little bit disappointed with his performance on the first map.
Yeah.
I've seen him play at the GSL Codec qualifier, and he played really well. He also, I think, took down Lustera. I don't really remember if it was with a 2-1 or a 2-0, but the entire series of the games that I've watched, that was really well executed by Inori, and he just played great at the qualifier. So I feel the last win was a little bit too easy for Keen, and at this time the Terran player will have a little bit of a harder time against Inori. But let's see, so far he's playing it pretty greedy with a double command center that's currently building in his main base, and it doesn't look like Inori is going to punish him for it.
Yeah, he doesn't quite realize what's going on. He tried to put on some pressure there, putting his Zealot on hold position on the ramp to use the Stalker's superior range, and oh wow, the SCV gets in here because he knows that the units are all the way at Keen's base, so he has the ability to run back in here. He's going to see the robo time, he sees the second gas, he also saw the Nexus, so Keen is completely in the know, whereas Inori is, I mean, he knows nothing. It's the complete opposite.
That's the reason why he now just starts to get his robotics facility. He really wants to have some scouting information of what exactly is going on in his opponent's base, and it's about time that he has a glimpse of what's going on here. Because he just needs to plan his next step. And Keen so far has been able to get away with everything that he built. He has the double expansion now, he already has one of his command centers on the low ground, is securing it with a bunker at the front. And with the second one, he could actually just try to float it to the right and try to hide it there for a little bit.
Yeah, he certainly could, and I think that's very likely. He may just keep it in his main to get the extra SCVs for a little bit longer, but that's something that players, for example, like Jockey and MMA really like to do, is to hide that command center at the base just to the right, or to the left if you start at the bottom position, for example. But Inori is getting those probes out. His tech is starting to show itself a little bit. Keen is starting a siege tank. He cancels it to start siege mode first, but really interesting that he is going to be mixing siege tanks in here. I mentioned that earlier. This is not quite what I meant exactly with getting siege modes or siege tanks in there, but it's something that can really be great for this map. If you control the watchtower, you can do so much damage to the siege tanks there.
Did Keen just fly his command center a little bit closer to his main CC? He actually did, but I don't know why.
The reason why, I think, is... well, actually, he's rallying to his natural. I was going to say the reason why is because he wants to be close to the minerals, but...
yeah, even that doesn't make too much sense.
He wasn't blocking add-ons either, so that's weird.
It's just, I think he's a perfectionist. He wants to have the perfect system.
It may be the case. Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. This could actually do a lot more damage with all those Marines trapped on the high ground. The siege tank is now coming out. There's one bunker, but there's just not a single Marine in there.
Yeah, he's repairing a bunker that's empty right now.
The siege tank at least was able to do some damage, and finally gets into the bunker. The SCVs are actually there in time in order to repair it. I already saw it being destroyed.
Yeah, but he's still losing so many SCVs here. This is a great little pressure move by Inori. He saw an opportunity and he took it, almost even rescued the Observer. Wasn't quite able to do that.
But on the other hand, he lost sentries, so right now we have 9 SCVs being killed by Inori, which was definitely worth it. But on the other hand, with the additional mule that we currently have for Keen, that he's able to make up for the difference in workers. It's a 13 worker difference, 35 against 48, but that will change soon with Keen now producing 3 SCVs at a time.
Something else to note is Inori's Observer was cut off. He wasn't able to see the command center, so he doesn't quite know what's going on. He knows there's a siege tank, so he's probably starting to get a little bit weirded out by this. His tech of choice is going to be Storm off of 2 bases, which can work against this type of play, but it can be very scary because you have to rely on these Templar that basically either hit their storms or they get killed by siege tank fire before they do, and if they don't get those storms off, you just lose the game.
And we can already see that the Harvester difference is changing quite a bit. Keen is getting closer to his opponent's Harvester count. And now we have also the Cloak upgrade nearly done for him, whereas Stim is 1/3 completed at this point. But Inori is playing a much better game than if you compare it to what we've seen on the last one. He's just not being so caught off guard, which is also true because we just have a different map. This is not Abyssal City, and yeah. It was just a little bit lucky for Inori, I guess, to have to face Keen on Abyssal City first.
Great little lucky scout here on the Banshee. Sees the Nexus at the perfect time. Not able to deny it, but he is going to go around and do some harassment. There's nothing to scout for this. There's no Observer nearby.
This could get really scary, actually, Wolf, if you think about it. There is no Observer, nothing.
He was losing some hit points on his Zealot, so he's attacking the Destructible Rocks with the Marines on the high ground.
The Banshee's in there, though.
There's nothing to stop him. No Observer. Until he runs out of energy, he's just going to have free reign. It is going to run out of energy soon, but the Stalkers have to chase. He's going to go into the main base, already getting more probes. And there's the Observer, finally going to be able to take this out.
He doesn't realize that he's going to lose the Banshee. 7 kills, still worth it.
Yeah, absolutely. And a second Banshee is coming in as well.
Harvester's killed now is 7-9 in favor of Inori still, but Keen is already getting ahead in overall supply. And now has the 3rd in position to the left side of the map.
With those triple SCV production, he's already pulled ahead in Harvesters again, 51-49.
And that's really significant. On the other hand, Inori didn't even complete his 3rd Nexus so far, so he's really struggling a little bit. And the Ghost Academy is also about to be completed for Keen, so he will be able to get the EMPs into the picture to counter his opponent's High Templar tech. And Banshee number 2 with a couple of kills, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we have it at the bottom, even trying to take down one of the pylons. No kills so far, actually.
Yeah, he came in, he saw the pylon, decided to attack the pylon first, but Inori was having none of that. He spotted it right away. Now he's got the Observer in position. Not only that, with Cannon, the Banshee's basically trapped there until Inori moves out. He's not going to be able to move an inch. As you mentioned, the Ghosts have been started. The Mobius Reactor's on the way as well, so you can get that extra energy out. And Keen right now is in a decent position, but Inori is not out of this yet, especially because he has all the tech in place. His upgrades are good. He's getting +2 right now, getting extra gateways because he has his 3rd base up. So I would say that Keen has a slight edge here, but Inori is definitely not out of it right now.
Yeah, at this point in time, we basically have this scenario where both players will just sit tight for a while and try to max out, get a decent amount of upgrades before they move out and start to attack.
Keen actually only stopped at 2 siege tanks. That's all he's got. And so they're actually just going to be used defensively. It looks like 1 at the 3rd and 1 at the main base so he can cover the ramp, and not only the ramp, but the secondary ramp. So he's got a nice little amount of coverage there. Pylon will fall to the left side of the map, so that means no warp in point for Inori, who is actually moving out to try to be aggressive here.
And funny as it is, Inori is supply blocked. He was supply blocked after the pylon has been killed, and the one that he already started is not really accomplishing too much. So now he starts additional 2, but he can't warp in too many units at this point. Only 2 supply free, so he can get another. Well, he can get another zealot if he wants to, but there's just not too much that he can achieve with this. +2/+2 for both of them coming up, and the first player to get aggressive is actually Keen. Try to scan for another observer, but he's not able to catch. There it is. Another scan and catch observer number 1 now trying to move in and pick off of a High Templar or 2, but he can't move up the ramp like this.
Nice EMP there from the side, but even so, here comes the Storm. Even with the Storm, it just didn't do enough damage, and Keen is going to catch and destroy all of this Protoss army. Immortal first and Stalker second, even the Archon cannot escape. With a blink, he does get some of his force away, but so much damage done there by Keen.
I was just saying he can't move up the ramp like this against 3 High Templars, and then suddenly there's this EMP by Keen that really hits home, and Inori, not splitting the Templars enough, loses the energy, can't storm enough, and then suddenly Keen is in a position where he can take out the force that was right in front of him.
Yeah.
Really well done by the
That Ghost
player.
man, that was actually Keen in that Ghost outfit. He just came around the south. He was in Commander Keen mode. He just sneaked in and EMP'd those. That was a crazy risky move, but
yeah,
it's worth it.
He used his Commander Keen pogo stick, jumped up, saw everything on the high ground, and then the EMP hit home.
Uh-oh, this missile turret fest that you guys did not see was devastating. A Storm does go off in the main.
Yeah, we have 2 units drop, 1 High Templar and a Zealot. You can't see it on screen, but there was a Warp Prism to the top left, killed by 2 missile turrets. But just before he died, he could drop 1 High Templar and a Zealot. But now the big story is, of course, Keen trying to take this game, moving in with his army, and Inori defending here. 167 supply against 150, and also the army supply highly in favor of Keen.
He's getting some EMPs off. He's hitting some snipes, forced the cancel on those Warpins, the pylon kill. And just barely anything poking at those Zealots because he knows there's siege tanks and other units behind them, so he can move forward with his Ghosts and his Marauders to poke at the Zealots. If Inori wants to commit to the fight, then he's going to get punished. But if he doesn't commit, then he just loses Zealots.
Yeah, and Inori is starting to pull a little bit of a creator here. He's losing another Observer, so this is definitely going to be a problem for him. He's just playing completely blind. He doesn't know where those units are.
Missed Storm as well.
Position for Keen. EMPs everywhere, and here he comes once again. Inori trying to defend, but they're already siege tanks in position, and Keen with so much DPS.
Yeah, there's way too many EMPs for Inori to handle. The Immortal falls, no Hardened Shield with that EMP. He's just going to run right up the ramp, going for the cannon. He knows there's no Storms left. And this is going to be the end of Inori, it looks like, in a pretty quick 2-0.
Inori not winning a single map in Code A or GSL once again. Even the Mana Mule being called down for Keen. GG. Game over. Keen takes it with an, with kind of an easy 2-0. Very sad, of course, for Inori. Back to Code B without winning a single map.
And that is going to be it for our second set. We will be back with Yu-Gi-Oh! Up against Bogus. Of course, ESF versus Kespa match. See you guys in just 5 minutes.